Hello guys, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. Hope everybody is doing good, had a solid day. Alright guys, what a nice trend day today, right? Trend bullish day today. We did have a little profit taking and a couple of candles, and then after that we were off to races. So we'll talk about that, how we managed it, how we longed everything today. We're gonna take a look at that. So most of the community was green today. We were 73% people green in the community, only 17% people were red. We did much better today than the last few days, the choppy days. Definitely a great day. We were on the right direction. There's a lot to recap today. There's a lot of winners today from our game plans, from our day 2, day 3 setups. Semiconductors were pretty strong. So lot to recap. So let's focus and go through everything, and we were going to learn. I'm going to teach you about 1 hours. What is the importance of the 1 hour EMAs? The importance of 1 hour charts. Why is the 1 hour chart and why is the 1 hour EMAs so important? So we are going to discuss that. That's going to be main focus for today's videos. Most of our winners were winners because they were because of our 1 hour charts, the MTF clouds that I create on the 1 hour. So we're going to discuss that. Let's start with a quick introduction for anybody who's new to me, new to my Twitter, new to my YouTube, or new to my community. All these trade recaps and teachings are from the trade ideas that I either share in my community, either I'm trading it, or the people in my community are trading it, or any idea I share on Twitter, or that is X, or any idea that I've shared with you guys on the YouTube, be it a swing trade, day trade, investment idea, whatever these ideas are. We discuss these. These are the ideas which derive all these teachings and recaps. We do not trade random, we trade repeatable system, repeatable setup. My repeatable system, thousands of traders across the world use it successfully to trade consistently. We use the same system in my community, Ripster EMA Cloud system. Then we trade repeatable setups every day. Every day our setups are repeatable. We do not trade anything random, right? If the setups are always repeatable for us, we have I cover these setups in my webinars. I cover these setups in my YouTube recaps. Every setup is different. Every setup is unique. Every setup is based upon a set variables and parameters that we trade with. All right, so that was that, and this is a game plan. Now you can see bunch of plays on the game plan today: PLTR, DDOG, MNST, Hood, APP, Hubs, OXY, Bros, bunch of others. Not all of them will trigger. Not all of them will give me a setup. If I like some setup which is triggering based upon these support and resistance pivots and my initial bias, the initial plan that I give in the pre-market, then I will probably take that long, and I will probably trade that. So we'll talk about all these setups. We will talk about what were our main plays today, what were our main winners today, and we will discuss that. So let's do that. And I also have something called day 2, day 3 repeatable strategy, which I share, which I did a free webinar with a lot of you guys a few months back. And these setups, day 2, day 3 setups, are based upon Ripster EMA Clouds and based upon our previous day levels, and it's based upon that all these stocks usually had a news either a day before, or they had a news yesterday. Anything that had a news last few days, we keep it on our um, our watch list every day, and we watch for them to give us a long or short trade, and we take those trades. So these were the list of our day 2, day 3. A lot of winners in it: UPST, shop, PLTR, AXON, bunch of the other trades which were recent. Uber was really good one, CELH. These were the few movers which were from our day 2, day 3 sheet, which we are going to review. Then of course every day we create these levels, SPY, QQQ, IWM, VIX levels. We create those levels, and of course again we used VIX today. Our VIX strategy was pretty straightforward. Again, we use VIX to figure out if we're going to long today or if we're going to short. So we'll discuss that, how we used VIX, and at the end we have our crypto watch. We have our crypto channel where we trade all those Bitcoin, MSTR, or all Bitcoin dependent stocks. Coin kind of moved decent, and MSTR was also another decent mover. So we will discuss all these plays as well today. We also do I didn't do it today, but we also have our low float watch list where we trade our low floats based upon our repeatable watch list. We'll take a look at them. All right, guys. So we're gonna start with talking about SPY QQQ. So we're gonna talk about the SPY QQQs, and then we'll talk. Basically, we're gonna discuss everything, not only SPY QQQ, and we're going to discuss the 1 hour charts as well. So before I start these recaps, you need to understand the importance of 1 hour charts. So 1 hour chart, whenever something crosses over 1 hour 50 EMA, or in this case, or in my case, 1 hour 3450 EMA cloud, that is something that is confirms a bullish trend. On SPY, we had tried to get over the 1 hour cloud few times. You see here, failed once, failed twice, but today it held the 1 hour breakout and it was long all day. So that was our basis to stay long in SPY QQQ today. And if I go through different stocks, let's say if I go through, in front of you, we'll cover individually. ARM, you see the ran over 1 hour clouds. You see, AVGO ran over 1 hour clouds. Micron ran over 1 hour clouds. And you can see on the side that I have 1 hour chart, which showing me that's what's happening over 1 hour clouds, right? So everything today was long over the 1 hour clouds. These, I build them as MTF multi-time frame clouds. I also have a daily MTF clouds, but I use a 1 hour MTF clouds where I have these 1 hour charts. You can see that I have 1 hour 3450. Yeah, I have 1 hour 3450. I do not use the other. I don't really need that 512s on 1 hour. I just stick with 1 hour. I just stick with 1 hour 3450. Although I can use 1 hour 512s as well. But anyways, the point is that we look at the trend, right? So we look at the trend. We look at the 10-minute trend, daily trend, weekly trend. How do you decide the trend? My system to decide the trend is based upon my EMA clouds, or you can just use EMAs, whatever you like. And today the trend changed bullish over 1 hour, and that's usually good when you want to swing. That's usually good for a breakout. That's usually good for a day trade. So everything comes together for us to have a trade. So we were not short today. Yeah, we were trying to short in the morning, but we got a signal to go long and we switched long today, and that's how most of the community was green today, because everybody was on the right side of the trade. Everything was running. Any stock which we are not discuss, you can see Meta was over 1 hour cloud, right? You see that, right? And other names, Google was over 1 hour cloud, 1 hour trend, Amazon over 1 hour cloud. So a lot of these stocks which were over 1 hour clouds, and they kept pushing, right? There's some other names as well which we'll discuss later, like for Uber, which was over 1 hour already. It was over 1 hour 3 days ago, and since then I've been talking about swinging the Uber, and every day it's running, and today it actually crossed the daily clouds, right? The daily MTF clouds. But anyways, today's focus is only the 1 hour MTF, so I'm gonna just focus on the 1 hour multi-time frame clouds today and show you how we made winning trades based upon our simple strategies, that 1 hour trend or 1 hour clouds or 1 hour EMAs that helps us. That's how we were green today. That's how we made good money, good profitable day today, and we can do it again and again and again. So overall, the market is trying to curl. We'll see. Let's go and SPY and QQQ, and we'll discuss more there. All right. So SPY and QQQ. Let's see what's happening here. First, since the big sell-off, SPY and QQQ has making higher lows, higher lows. We had a nice sell-off yesterday, which was a weird, push and come back sell-off. But this morning again, we were gapping up. So when we gap up, we have two things to watch. We need to see, are we going to, pull back and fill the gap, or are we going to make gap and go? So what SPY did today, there were two red candles, and that's fine. There was two red candles, and QQQ had more than two red candles, right? QQQ was trying to fill the gap. What was our plan? Our plan was pretty simple today. Our plan on the VIX was, if I, let's see if I can show you there, the plan on VIX. Yeah, so our plan on VIX was simple: 26, 25.75, 25.50 important levels. If market breaks those levels to the downside, we will stay bullish, right? So what did market do? Market broke all those levels. Market broke, stayed under 26, market broke 25.75, and market also broke 25.50. So all those levels were, even if you blindly followed this more pre-market plan and you stayed long on the market, you made good money by end of the day, right? So you see there when market opened, it tried to push, but look here, it rejected back under 512 clouds. Market could never really become bullish. Sorry, the VIX could never really become bullish to market to fade. Why were these two red candles? These two red candles because VIX was trying to push into the 10 a.m. And these two red candles because VIX was trying to push. But when VIX failed explosively and then VIX broke back under 26, that's when you get this long here. That's what you can long here in 26 because VIX is breaking under that 26 area, and that's around the 10 a.m. time when we start to break out, right? So initially VIX was not breaking down, VIX was strong, right? But right away, VIX gave up, right? Break of 25 will be good for the market. So let's see. Let's go back to our SPY QQQ whole day guidance. So initially, my said SPY pushing over MTF, okay to scalp starter size, amateur move, right? So that was my initial thoughts on SPY when we were pushing in the morning. Of course, QQQ I told to cut, but SPY we were not supposed to cut because 512 clouds were holding. Look where it's pulling back, and these are the 1 hour MTF Ripster clouds. I have these in the documentation at ripstereducation.com. You can go to ripstereducation.com. You can go to trading tips. I have it in TD Think or Swim tips. I think I have added it right here. Right here. Let's see. I was trying to find where did I add. Maybe let's see. So I might have it at Ripster EMA Clouds. Let's see. I'm just trying to see. I did put some documentation on MTF. Actually, I will add it. I will just add the MTF documentation right here in the Ripster EMA Cloud. So that should be good. Yeah. So I'm gonna add that. I did add the Ripster MTF clouds here as well. But anyways, I will add the documentation today or tomorrow. I will add it under Ripster EMA Cloud so you can see how to get those 1 hour Ripster EMA Clouds. So anyway, SPY, you see there, right? I told everyone it's confirmed bullish. At 10 a.m., I told anyone confirmed bullish. I told everyone long SPY QQQ, long SPXL, right? So you see where SPXL went. SPXL, since I told everybody long SPXL, it went from 1015, at that time, from 127 all the way to 132. TQQQ, I told everybody to long TQQQ. TQQQ went from 55.50 to all the way to 58, right? So you can see my timestamped guidance, and all of these were big winners for us all day as I guided everybody through the SPY and QQQ longs. And you can see that Qs were looking heavy. They were bearish first 20 minutes, but then they turned bullish because then they reclaimed 512s. I talked about this important concept that when we break 512s and then we retake the 512s, it's even more bullish. And then you can see that how everything went, right? We went long at 10 a.m. I told everybody today to be confident, don't be scared to stay long, and this big move right from here 440s to all the ways to 445, right? This move or 4 or 5 candles, everybody made a huge money, right? Because this is the time when all our other stocks started to push, AMD, NVDA, and all those. So nice winning trades, guys, on the market using the SPIX. Today we used our VIX strategy. Today we used our MTF 1 hour clouds, and so we did good. We were done for most part in the morning. Let's look at some next place. I failed to show you the levels. You could clearly see the levels I gave on SPY and QQQ in the morning. 523s, 540s, and once they were gone, 540, 45s, we were off to the races, right? So I gave those levels in the pre-market so people can trade on their own on those levels. So looking at those semiconductors, right? So recently I talked about these semiconductor ETFs that you can trade. You can trade SOXL if your semiconductors are long. You can trade, you can trade Nasdaq with TQQQ if you want to long it. Of course, semiconductors are SMCI ETF, SOXS ETF, but they, if you don't want to trade the high price ETFs, you can always trade the smaller priced SOXL ETF, right? So today I had told everyone once we were ripping that we will long. It's okay to long SOXL and SOXL and TQQQ. Semiconductors is okay to long because once we are breaking out on SPY on the 1 hour charts, QQQ we are okay to long SOXL. Since I told SOXL long everybody at 10 a.m., SOXL went on from going from 2850s to all the ways to 32 area, right? So we went all the way to 32 area. So that was our SOXL today trade. Beautiful, beautiful trade. So you can see the timestamp guidance on SOXL and TQQQ on the on both those trades long side. It was basically the marketplace, and we did long with because instead of longing with those what we call instead of longing the individual names, you can always long the entire semiconductor sector and make good money, right? So what was SOXL doing? Initially two red candles because VIX was popping, but when you see the reclaim of 512, which is even more bullish, and then we break 1 hour charts, the 1 hour MTF clouds on SOXL, and then we push higher, way higher on XO. Same thing, TQQ, from 55 idea, we went all the way to 58, big winner. Your stops under here, you're risking what, $500 $600, but you are end up making like $1,500 to $2,000 by end of the day. So those are the trend trades on we did on SOXL and TQQQ leverage ETFs for the semiconductors and for the markets. All right, let's now look at our other trades on, we have our trades on all the semiconductors because we track them, trade them every day. AMD, NVDA, AVGO, ARM, all those semiconductors, right? If I show you them, if I show you, let's say I show you ARM, so you can see the ARM. I didn't, all day long. The first long on these were, and I can show you the levels. You can pause the screens and look at the levels on all those semiconductors, ARM, SMCI. It's not SMCI, I will discuss that separate. AVGO and TSM. So you can see all those levels, right? ARM was a long right here, and I did mention these flags. I did talk about the flag on the voice today that everything is flagging. So this was the flag, right? This was the flag. There was a flag on ARM, there was a flag on AMD, there was a flag on AVGO, and it was all day, right? We were long all day. So of course we are making money in the market, but at the same time we were long in all these setups. You could trade them individually. You have the levels here to use them as a support and resistance, and you have the MTF Ripster MTF clouds telling you, and then a midday guidance where I'm telling everybody that we are flagging, we are breaking out. I even gave a secondary trade to everybody when SPY was breaking out of this midday. This breakout even gave more profitable trades to everyone. There was my another, you can see that this was alert that was coming in middle of the day on the SPY breakout and the flags, right? So we were talking about AMD mainly. So AMD, I told everybody to to long it and watch the pullbacks because it's a good one. Once we are pushing over the 3450 and MTF clouds, it's a good one long. You don't get these MTF breakouts that much because the stock is not always going to be close to MTF. This was a special opportunity where the stocks were actually crossing the MTFs, giving us chance to long the 1 hour setup, right? This was a 1 hour setup, and I gave the 135 target to MTF, and everybody, and AMD pulls nicely. And then the other one is of course NVIDIA, and there's NVIDIA was just crazy all day. There was total number of call flows coming in. Community was actually all day, we were on NVIDIA. Community was you can see how everybody were trading NVIDIA. Lexi was on it. Robokosh was on since morning. Robokosh been alerting NVIDIA, right? And Christian, CB, Blue Zenith, everybody in the community was laser focused on NVIDIA. Well done. This is what our community does. We are not an alert service, but we are all on the top of every play. People know that we are on the right side and they try to trade it. And really well done. Really proud of a lot of the traders in the community today who have been, playing, following the system and playing really well. So these were all our semiconductor winners today, along with, with that we just discussed. Right. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's see how we traded SMCI today. Let's look at that. So SMCI, we were watching initially for the long side in the morning. I was watching the immature candle. I was watching that immature candle in the morning over the clouds. I was watching for long side. But when I saw this candle, this red, this crazy red candle to the downside, I became cautious. I became super cautious, and I told everybody, I don't like that candle. Wait. Then it was kind of a short. If you could short it under the breakdown, and there's a support here. Look where it's bouncing from, 478 area, right? So SMCI was bouncing from that area for 480, 478. This area was kind of the support zone. You know that this is a 480 support zone, and it held it, right? It's normal. It's expected. It held this support, and then initially there was no setup, but then came the long setup on SMCI. Then came this long setup. I even tweeted about it. Let's see if I can show you guys. So yeah, let's look at that SMCI setup, right? I even tweeted this setup out. Let's say if I go to the initially start of the day, actually in the community, we were, I had this price alert come in on SMCI. You can see this price alert that came in here, right here. Let's see where the price alert was. So 480 was so once we were short, the 480 was the target. So I told everybody to watch 480. And once it got over the clouds, I told everybody it's over the clouds. Do not short. Let's see. Let me see if I can show you here. Yeah. So once it's over the clouds, there was no reason to short it because it's getting right above the clouds. And then, this nice downtrend line. And this was a nice long here and just pushed. It pushed to 500 and it's back over the clouds. And that's when I, even tweeted about it, that more room over 500 psychological if NASDAQ pushes. And NASDAQ started to push, and then SMCI, as you see, started to push, further, so, and then my next level was 525 target. We hit our 525 target. So easy. That was an easy $25 trade. Or if you took this 492 trade, what, just with the Ripster EMA Clouds. Yes, the morning was a little risky. This amateur was a little risky, but this setup that showed up like a mini downtrend line flag, this is a repeatable setup. This is our 3450 curl setup, right? And we were talking about all the SPY breakout that I talked about. That you can see the SPY went as well, SPY QQQ from my alerts. I even so I guided everybody on Twitter as well on those trades. So anyways, so you see, then even SMCI rejected the 1 hour clouds. You see that, right? That's a 1 hour resistance. It's rejecting the 1 hour resistance, the power of the 1 hour clouds. So, right, so that's why it rejected and came back. That's why this was our target, right? So you see, as long as the clouds hold, the trend is up and you get good money. And when the trend breaks, you have to step away. So, all right, let's go to the next one. All right, let's look at some of the next plays here. So then some of the next plays we are going to look at is Lily. So Lily was on our game plan today. Let's go back to our game plan and see what was the plan on Lily. So Lily was gapping up. 860, 820 was a support pivots. 820, 882 was resistance pivot. I told everybody it's a little extended. Okay, so it can have a B minus pullback first. Lot of support levels underneath. And Lily did exactly how I planned in the pre-market. So Lily first breaks down under that support. There's a short. You short it, and then Lily short. Targets were 835, 830s. We met to 830 target, and then it starts to bounce. We always cover, right? This is what from 860 to 830. How much is that? That's almost $30 per share short, and then I told everybody do not short, it's curling, and then this is a midday setup, and you can see how the traders were trading the midday curls on Lily. You can see the whole community was on top of that. Lily bounce, Rich was on it, Ian was on it, Scarv, everybody in the community was curling that Lily curl. Beautiful trades by Lily, right? First we short it and then we curl it, and you see it's right in between those daily MTF clouds. Beautiful trade. So I'm going to go fast through this next few trades. These are all our day 2, day 3 trades. Let's look at PLTR. Although PLTR had a news, there was one top news play, with Microsoft and support provided, resistance provided, the plan. It was a day 2 setup. We have our day 2 rules clearly defined that if the price is over the clouds and over the pivots, it's a long setup. It's that simple. It's over the yesterday's highs, and that's what PLTR did. As soon as PLTR pushed through 2730, that was your long signal to get long on PLTR, and PLTR was non-stop today. PLTR was non-stop today. And I told, even in the morning, I told everybody these are your focus plays. These day 2, day 3 setup, PLTR, UPST, AXON, CrowdStrike, CELH. All you had to do was long once my pivot broke, and PLTR I gave targets of 29.20, my second target 29.80, my one target already met. So you can see that $2 per share, move on PLTR today. Beautiful winner. Day 2, 3, timestamped guidance and the pre-market plan. You can check everything. So next one we're going to look at is Uber. Uber. Day like today, you have to stick with your longs. You have to stick with your longs. So Uber actually, I took the profits on the 512 break, but then it reclaimed, and then you get long again. And you see this was the secondary move on Uber. This was the primary move, and then there was a secondary move. So I told everyone it's a good long versus 66, 66.50. And I told if you're day trading, you can lock. If you're swing trading, you can hold it. And versus 66.50, and it was our day 2, day 3 setup. Let's see here on Uber right here. It should be somewhere here. Let's see. Let me find out. Yeah, Uber is right here, 65.27, 65, 66.75. So as long as those pivots break, Uber is a long. Nice guidance in the community. Everybody in the room just kill the Uber. Honit was on top of it all day. Mikshu was on top of it. RGV. Everybody in the community really did good on Uber. TPW. It's power of the EMAs. And Uber I have been calling out the swing since we were off the earnings. I just love this name. I mean, it still has more room. All right, let's look at some other trades we did. UPST was another one of our day 2, day 3 setup. It didn't show me anything earlier. I let it go in the morning. You can see I was like, I don't see anything bullish. I let it go. But later in the day, I even tweeted about this setup. Let's see if I can show you guys here. Yeah, look here. So so day 2, you see this breakout setup? Beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Resistance, flag, breakout, range breakout, whatever you call it, and then watch it from 34.57 through 35.24, and we hit almost 35.24. So nice midday trade on UPST on that flag break on day 2. So that was like a midday long on UPST. Midday there was like a 34.50 curl, 34.50 curl winner. Not bad. It's still good for a swing as it's holding 34.50s. All right, next one we're going to look at is CELH. So what's going with the CELH? So CELH had an earning, had a downgrade. So even you see I was talking about CELH today, that it's a high focus. As soon as CELH gets over this pre-market level, this flush came later in the day, but your pre-market level is clearly 37.30. You push it over this, and then it pushes over 34.50. And I told everybody to watch the day 3, and then it pushes over to the MTF daily 1 hour clouds. Nice trade on CELH as well in the community. There were so many trades today, guys. It was just amazing. So another one we're going to watch is AXON. That was another one day 2, day 3 winner. You can see that one of our high priority trades, AOXN, and the plan on AXON was very simple. That day 2 versus 340. That was a kind of a risk level right here. It never really pushed down, and it just broke the upper pivot. Let's see what was our upper pivot on AXON. 352 was upper pivot, and it never looked back after breaking 352. These are the post earning plays, guys. That's why these post earning plays on day 2s are so important. If you focus on them, you can make really consistent money on these day 2 post earning plays. So that was, guys, our day 2 setup on AXON. Let's look at another day 2 setup. That was which one was our? Let's look at what was it? It was our shop, right? So what was happening with the shop today? Let's go back and take a look. So shop had an shop had an earnings yesterday. So today it was day 2 earnings setup. So what was the plan? The plan I gave on the shop was 63 was support, 64 resistance, Morgan Stanley maintains over rating, price target is 285, and all you had to do was just watch the day 2 levels on the shop. 64.95. Once that gives up, that's it, right? You stay long. It's a beautiful trade on shop as well, same as AXON. You have MTF clouds right under that. Beautiful trade. So hope you understand these setups, right? These setups that I talk about, day 2 earning setups, they are just so important because they are repeatable, and I have been teaching them from years and years and years. Look here, right? I've been teaching this setup. So this I have been how to play these setups, right? Second day long, second day short. Beautiful win, AXON, earnings day 2 setup. Look at shop, earnings day 2 setup, right? You can pause the screen, read how to play them. Again, winner, right? So there are many more winners I can show you. Let me see. So look at this one, Costco, similar, day 1 earning, day 2, boom. Look at this one, Roku, day 1 earning, day 2, boom. So all of these are the similar day 2 setups, which you can trade again and again and again and again. The reason I teach them again and again is because even if 100 people see it, at least I can see like even one person uses this setup again, he will become a consistent trader for the life, because he will know to execute themselves. And this is good for investors as well. Day 2 investor, day 2 swing trader, you just need to know the post earning setups. That is your risk. Take a position the post earnings, swing it, invest in that stock post earnings, and make profits. Define risk. If it stops that level, you get out. So that was day 2, day 3 earnings setup. Look at some other plays today. There's a bunch of plays today. DUOL was a real winner as well in the community. I really like DUOL. Let me show you. So DUOL, it was pushing over the MTF clouds, pulled back, and then rallied back all day long. DUOL, I love this name. There's a nice revenue growth in second quarter. It had a couple of downgrades, but overall I love this name as investing name as well. 173 was our resistance pivot. It held around that, and our support was on the clouds, and it was a nice trade from MTF to MTF today. So there were a few other trades which I'm going to go through quickly. Micron was a really nice day 2, day 3 setup. You can see that how Micron was one of our watch lists, and of course semiconductors are long. It was over 1 hour clouds again. That was a good one. Then we had Reddit, which was one of our main day 2, day 3 setups as well, which was again pushing higher over the 1 hour MTF clouds. The importance of the 1 hour charts, right? So this is the 1 hour strategy. So every trade investors, you want to use it. So that was Reddit and MU. So let's look at some more trades there. So let's look at now RIVN and LYFT. So RIVN, same thing, right? Over the 1 hour clouds, over the daily clouds, and of course our Ripster EMA regular clouds. These MTF clouds can only help when we are close to the MTFs. When they are not there, we just have to trade the regular ones, right? So anyways, RIVN was a breakout over 14. The LYFT was the break over 925. Both RIVN and LYFT were another solid break plays. LYFT never looked back once it pushed over the 95 level, 925 level. Beautiful winner. Let's look at one other winner from the community. Gameplan OXY. What was the game plan on OXY? The game plan OXY was neutral bias. Daily is bearish, but the resistance pivot is 57.30. And once it pushed over 57.30, OXY never pulled back. It had an amateur move, but after that it went on to run all day. OXY, beautiful play. So once the levels, you can see the OXY levels here, 56.70, 57.30. Once those levels were cleared, OXY continued to push all day for a nice trend for a big winning day on OXY. Now let's look at Meta. Meta was another winner today. I mean, any player you took today was solid wins for us. You can take the Meta levels that we provide every day right here. Was 498.55, 165.40. I saw Meta was a leading strength. For me, it was mainly the 500 trade over the 500 psychological level. So that was my 500 psychological level. That was the long on Meta. I was guiding with the targets. I gave the 503, 505 targets, and Meta actually even kept on going from there, went on to 507. Let's look at next one. Next one is app APP. So AAP was another one of our news plays, which was long over 70. I told everybody to only long if 68 holds, no long under 68. Breakout was 71. That was in our pre-market planning. Let's see what AAP did. You see that no, not this one. Hold on, the wrong one. Yeah, so you see that it pulled to 68, and when it comes back, that's when you long it, right? You ignore this mature move. You want to long here. You can long here this area. You can still have stops at 68. You long at 69, 70, does not matter. And look, you got $6-7 profit on APP. You just have to let the amateur move go, wait for the amateur move. Even if you traded that, you stop out, you wait for this. So this is what, when I say 68 is holding, this is what I mean when I say that a level is holding. This means the level is holding. And look at app, beautiful all day long winner. Let's go to the next one. All right, guys, I think that's enough for today. A lot of plays and a lot of good plays. Green day for community. Very proud. Day like today, I'm usually very happy, not because we had because we have less red people and more people learn so many setups. So hopefully you learned a lot. Please make sure you comment with any questions you have. I'll reply. Make sure you follow, like, tweet, whatever you want. I will appreciate it. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.